Guys, what's up today? I come to you with my weekly review of Gintama the manga. And in this week's chapter 579 is the beginning of a very beautiful but tragic love story. And I'm talking about Umibozu and Kouka. Now, that is the name of the lady that was introduced, and we all know her as Mammy. Now, she finally has a name. So, as we know, this chapter is a flashback on how Umibozu met his future wife and the mother of his two children. And he met her on their old deserted Yato home planet before, as we saw in many flashbacks, the home planet that they're on, this was the first home planet for the Yato before they decided to desert and reside in many other planets. So he's there and he's meeting her, and then he comes to find out that she's practically the person who tames the Orochi because she lives on that planet and she's not living with anyone. She was able to adapt to the environment, even though there was practically no proper soil. The soil was rotten, the water was spoiled, and there was like no proper way for even for a species to properly live on there. But these creatures, as she said, was able to live on this planet and survive. And she's like, this planet is not dead. Everyone that deserted thinks it's dead, but it's not. So she does have a point there. If something is capable of living somewhere, that means that place is not deserted. That place is not, you know, officially dead. So she's the only survivor of the whole Yato clan that's living on that planet, and somehow she's able to survive without dying because the waters are so spoiled, they're so rotten poison that drinking that after a while you'll end up dead because of all the poison, the toxins that's inside your body. So Umibozu, he stayed on there when he first arrived there. He stayed there for 3 days and 3 nights, just trying to coax um Koka into, like, just talking to him because she kept ignoring him for a long while. So by the final day that he was there, he told her his real name, which is Kanko, and basically that name is probably for only those who are truly close to Umibozu, and everybody else just calls him by Umibozu. By the galaxy, the universe calls him by that name, but only his wife and whoever else was very close to him know him by Kanko. So he leaves with that message, and she tells him her name, and then he comes back. He comes back periodically every time he comes from a travel from after visiting every different planets. He goes and he tries to talk to her and he tells her of his adventures and everything. And we see Coca, her personality for the most part of this week's chapter, she has a very cold, stone hard face. Like, she's unimpressed with anything he has to say. She doesn't have any emotions. But that also has to deal with the fact that she lives by herself. She is the only soul person that's living on that planet with creatures that could possibly kill her if she was not a Yato. Okay. And eventually also Umibozu was able to tame the Orochi. So they were able to defeat 59 of his heads out of the 108. But he tells her of her adventures, and she's like, you know what, take me on these adventures. Show me how big and vast this galaxy you speak of. So while they're traveling and everything, he's still trying to sweet talk her into making her, for him to woo her in her liking him, because he's like, something else stood up. My genes told me something, and something stood up. So it wasn't love at first sight, but he felt an instant connection with her. So as time went by, his feelings grew for her and everything. And at one point, she said he left her once again, and then he came back to their same planet, and he asked her, "Why did you leave and why didn't you come back?" or something like that. And she's like, "Because you showed me something that I did not want to recognize. You showed me that I had emotions that I thought, died out a long time ago." And that was very a very touching moment for these two, because Coca, if she was to just remain on this planet, she probably die a very lonely life without even realizing it. And Umibozu showed her practically the world. He showed her a whole lot of a world. He showed her the galaxy and how big it is, and if they're together, they can travel and go on so many adventures with each other. So she finally made up her mind to travel with him and become his partner, because he couldn't man up at that time to tell her his true feelings. But we can guess that over time, eventually years later, probably he told her how he felt. And of course, we know where that goes to them probably getting married, and then they have their two children, Kagura and Kamui, and then the mother dying. And I can guess that the mother died due to her consuming whatever was on their original home planet. So this was a very sweet, but also you can tell also it was also a bittersweet story for these two lovers. And it was a good thing to see a little backstory on Umibozu and where he comes from and just who he is and who Kagura and Kamui's mother was. And like you say, Kagura has her beauty and Kamui has her hair. She's a very beautiful and strong woman. You can see that in both her children. So probably next week's chapter, we're gonna see a final conclusion of this flashback and get back right into the fight with Umibozu and Yutsuro and see what happens with those two characters. So tell me in the comment section below, what do you think about this week's chapter of Umibozu and Kouka, and how do you like about their relationship, how it started? Do you think it was very befitting of these two, or do you think of something totally different, of a different scenario that could have happened for these two to meet up? Also, the links are in the description box, so you could click on those. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye.